With so many things that you need to do and want to experience, saving money has never been more important. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is helping families like yours make the most of what they have. We provide financial tools and resources, calculators and expert advice, and access to discounts. Just a few of the ways AARP Pennsylvania helps you and your family save real money, because saving money never gets old. AARP Pennsylvania, real possibilities. Go to aarp.org/PA to start saving today. Real Possibilities is a trademark of AARP.
Welcome back to the International Radio Book Tours in Progress. I'm your host, Rich-Gehlhausen, and with me today is author John Nuckel. John, we're going to continue our conversation we're going to talk about the last book in the series so far, Blind Trust.
Okay, Blind Trust. This is, it's a little different from my other books, where it's a little more... it's not as frenetic, I think is a good word. It's not as hard charging. This is another one that started with a dream. I had a dream one night, and that is the opening scene of the book. And I actually dreamed the person's name. I could smell the air. I knew what the sun looked like. So this is, when I get involved in doing this. But this really is about loyalty, and, I said on the back of the book that is, there's a lot of people that I worked with over my years on Wall Street, a lot of damn good people, really, who I put my blind trust in them. So I dedicated my book to them. But yeah, now in this book you have Frank and a character, Cat Wells from Grit. They're established now, and they're working with Brogan, and they're investigating Wall Street crime, and they have a nice little operation. Well, of course, something comes along. Well, it goes back in time about 40 years back, where Brogan was involved in something that now in the future comes back to haunt them. And this, a lot of this really is a commentary on what is actually happening now on Wall Street. I mentioned earlier reading something in the Wall Street Journal. The plot device really came from an article in Wall Street Journal. And, I could say it because it's been out there for a while, but a company called BNP Paribas, a French financial firm, was actually pled guilty to money laundering for the Sudan government and front running and illegal trading and insider trading, but like the Sudan government where Darfur was. I mean, they were financing these evil warlords, and they actually pled guilty. And you know what happened? They paid a fine. Like $5 billion. So in my book, the bad guy who was involved in this type of behavior for years and years and years, he stands up and says, I don't feel bad. I stole my whole life. I front-runted. I financed governments. I've overthrown governments. I've had women and food and wine. I've had everything I want. Well, as you can imagine, my fine, he doesn't end up paying a fine. So that's a lot of it. But what I enjoyed I really enjoyed my side characters in Blind Trust. Like I enjoyed, I mentioned before, Vinny Castellini. He's like a tough guy who grew up right across the street from Belmont Racetrack, which is not far from where I grew up. And I knew these guys. I knew the guys who worked at the track.
John, I love your characters. I'm fascinated by the way that you talk about them as if they are real people. Where they grew up, their experiences they had, and so forth. Yeah.
It's I used to go to Belmont Racetrack, and I knew a guy who knew a horse. I did a lot of that. And there's another character, House, who I really like. He's like an enforcer down in Miami, and like I said, I like Esther Landsman, who's a widow. There's a lot of characters, and I tried to make this not just character-driven, but more relationship-driven. So a lot of it is about Frank's relationship with Brogan. A lot of it is about the interplay between House and Ben Hirsch, who's one of the new characters. A lot is about all these things that go on, and at the end, it sort of is a tribute by Frank to Brogan.
Well, there's a line, John. There's a line at the back of your book, Blind Trust. The line reads, "There is no honor among thieves, but there is for those who hunt them."
Yes.
And I think that that line draws to the theme running through basically all your books, but in particular Blind Trust.
Yes. No, I agree. There's a part where Ben, who is new, says to Cat Wells, from all the evidence, it looks like Brogan, who's their leader, it looks like he was involved in all of this. If you were an objective person, you would think that he was, he was part of this whole thing. And Cat just says to him, "Well, I have blind trust in Brogan. I just know that isn't true. It's inconceivable, actually." And obviously it isn't true, but that's really what it's about. And, a lot of this is, even though it's a thriller and there's plenty of fun stuff going on, plenty of action, adventure, and violence, a lot is really about love. It really is. Like there's a part that I really like, and this is going back to dreams. And think about this. I use so much of this in my writing, which I don't know if I even realize that I do. But Frank has a dream, and this speaks towards his whole character also. Going, the whole theme running through the Vig and Grit. And he has a dream. He happens to be in rehab, and he's in rehab, not for the first time, but he's in rehab because he's having recurring dreams or thoughts about the love of his life who died in his arms. And what he has to realize is that he's there. He's in rehab because he's using that as his reason to be in rehab, but really that's his excuse for going back to drinking. The memories of her. But in the dream, he is in St. Patrick's Cathedral, and this is very dense, this part of the book, and I think a lot of my writing is dense. I try to pack a lot in, and he's in St. Patrick's Cathedral, and he's in a processional. He's walking in a processional, and he's not even religious, but there he is, and we're getting up to the altar, and he doesn't want to go to the altar, and he sees like his two friends there. And he just slips in. He sneaks out and slips into a pew. Then he waves over to them and says, "I'm going to go outside." He goes outside St. Patrick's Cathedral, and Fifth Avenue isn't there. In front of him, there's no Rockefeller Center. In front of him is this beautiful rolling field, and it's like an Ivy League campus or a beautiful park. And he could see in the distance men in whites playing tennis, and there's ivy running up the tennis court fence, and as he's walking, someone comes up alongside of him, and it's his father. And his father is like complaining and bitching, and it just ruins the whole thing. And finally, his father turns to him and says, "You can go back now." And as Frank is recalling the dream, he's sitting on a bench by the Hudson River, and he really feels like he died last night. That's how he feels. That's how strong it was. But back in the dream now, he after his father says you could go, he's at an elevator bank, and it's like in the Chrysler Building or the Empire State Building, this beautiful Art Deco marble lobby. And there's 3 buttons, and one says 199, one says 99, and one says 1. So he presses 1, he opens up, he gets in, and it just barely closes and then it opens again. And he looks out. He looks up and it says 99, but he looks in front of him and there's St. Patrick's Cathedral. So he jumps out quick, and he's walking towards St. Patrick's Cathedral, and there she is, his love of his life is standing there, and she's wearing all white. And he goes up to her, and he doesn't know what to say, and he doesn't hug her. He just puts his arms out, and she takes his hands. And since he doesn't know what to say, he just says, "I was just on this elevator, and it was 199, 99, and 1, and I hit 99, and it brought me to you. What if, but I pressed 1, what else is there?" And she just goes, "Shh, next time take the steps." And he wakes up. And that
John?
There is his journey. There's his journey. Take the steps. Just take the steps, Frank. Write your book. Take the steps. Follow your daydream.
John, thank you. We are running out of time. I want the audience to know where they can go to find out more information about you, and where can they go to find your books.
Okay, the main place to find out about me is john-nuckel-author.com. That's JOHNNUCKEL, one word, author, john-nuckel-author.com. My blogs, my articles, and the links to my books are there. I'm also on Amazon and Kindle, and I hope people enjoy.
All right. Thank you, John. Thank you so much for appearing on our program today. Our next show with author... Thank you, John. Our next show with author John Nuckel, continuing the International Radio Book Tour, will be on Tuesday, June 16th. We'll have an in-depth preview of the VIG with a dramatic reading from the book. You don't want to miss that show. We're all looking forward to it. Now, the International Book Tour is managed and directed through Storytellers Campfire radio programs. To learn more about the program, please visit storytellerscampfire.org and click on the show page. Click on the International Book Tours. We also provide information and links for the guests featured on the program through our website. So again, visit Storytellers Campfire Radio at www.storytellerscampfire.org. And now to our listening audience from around the world, this is your host, Rich Gehlhausen, saying, have a very good day.
It's our last errand today, Jimmy. Just need to pick up some light bulbs.
Whoa, there's so many. Did Grandma tell you which ones to buy?
No, but check out the label on this package. It'll help us find the right bulbs.
Does it really matter?
Well, sure. The new light bulbs use a lot less energy, so we save money on our electric bill by using an energy-saving incandescent, CFL, or LED.
How about this bulb?
Let's see. We need to replace the 60-watt bulbs in our bedside lamps. That one is 800 lumens, so it should do the trick.
I've never heard of lumens.
Lumens tell us how bright the light is. The more lumens, the brighter the bulb.
You know, Grandpa, you're a pretty bright guy.
Yeah, you're pretty smart yourself, Jimmy.
Lumens, the new way to shop for light. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. That's EnergySavers.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Energy.